I was leaving my husband, and building Betti was the best option, and I needed a safe place to land. Building Betti was the biggest challenge. I'd had a little bit of experience. Turns out it's much better if you just get a plain box. So everybody wants to know where my bathroom is, because really it doesn't look like there's room for one. But actually my bathroom is large, and it actually is this whole space.
Will you join me? Will you roll? Make this house our tiny home.
Hi, I'm Eva, and this is Truck Betti. So before living in Betti, I was a marketing manager for a nonprofit in West Virginia, and I also was a permaculture farmer. So my inspiration for moving into a tiny home was a combination of things. I was leaving my husband, and everything in my life was changing, and I needed a safe place to land, and a place that I could afford, a place that was comfortable and homey, and a place that allowed me freedom to kind of find my new spot. And so building Betti was the best option. I found her online. She was in Norfolk, Virginia, and I had been eyeballing her for quite some time. She was the only box truck that had windows, and I thought at the time that that was the most important thing, that I had something that had windows in it already. Turns out it's much better if you just get a plain box and put the windows in yourself, but you know, she turned out all right. Building Betti was the biggest challenge. I bought her probably about a month after I moved out of my sticks and bricks home. And so when I bought Betti, I didn't really have any tools. There was no place really for me to work on her, and I really didn't know where I was going to start. I'd had a little bit of experience, but when I got Betti, it was definitely out of my wheelhouse. So I had gone to a friend of mine's, and he said, if you need help, you just let me know. And it was like manna from heaven. It was like, oh, and I was like, yes, I need help. So I ended up spending probably 6 weekends in a row. And within that time, he got me to the point where I had 4 walls, a ceiling, a floor, everything insulated, windows framed out, a specially made door that goes from the back to the front of Betti, and I had a clean slate to work with. And so once I got that done, I slowly kind of pieced together what was gonna be Betti. So the cost of Betti was probably around $35,000 for everything. And Betti, she's a 2016 Chevy Express 3500. So my utilities are pretty minimal. All of my power is generated with my solar panels on the roof. I do have a Starlink for when I'm traveling, and that's probably my biggest expense, is that I get my water usually from either friends or public water sources. Believe it or not, there's a ton of places where you can get free water on the road.
The freedom of living on the road is one of the best parts about the nomadic lifestyle, but it also means that you have to think a little bit more about your online privacy. I know this from experience because I spent an entire year on the road towing my tiny home and creating this YouTube channel. These days, it feels like every platform is just asking for another piece of your personal information, which is why this week's sponsor, Obscura VPN, caught my attention. Unlike traditional VPNs that can see both your identity and the websites you visit, Obscura is designed so it physically can't link who you are with your internet activity. It also has built-in ad and online tracker blocking that you can customize, so you have more control over how websites track you. And if privacy is important to you, you'll appreciate that you don't even have to give them your email address to sign up. And if you want to verify all of this, Obscura is open source, so you can even check the source code for yourself. So whether you're already living life on the road, or you're dreaming about it, or maybe you're just someone who uses public Wi-Fi, Obscura is a great way for you to add another layer of online privacy on the go. So head to obscura.com/THGJ or scan the QR code on your screen to get 25% off your subscription for about $6 a month. But now, let's get back to our tour.
Welcome to Betti. Let me show you inside. This is her specially made door. So one of the things about Betti that I really needed to have was a way to access the back from the front while I was parked. And so I had my friend Pete make me this special door. It has stained glass from my sticks and bricks home that I fell in love with that I really just wanted to take with me. And so this was another way to integrate art into my build. This is my pantry. I really love to have artwork, and so I really had to work hard to find places to put pieces of art that were special to me in Betti. And so I made this shelf here in my pantry and actually used pieces of art for doors. The other thing that I really enjoy doing and that I wanted to have in Betti was books. I really enjoy reading and just having books around me. So I put in this shelf here for some of my favorite books and things I thought I might need on the road. In my closet, I have a lot of my clothing that I don't want to have to fold up. So there's a lot of hanging clothes in here. I have a lot of my shoes, boots, full-length mirror is in here when I need it. And I also have medicinal tinctures that I made just in case I get sick while I'm on the road. This fan is a godsend in the summertime when it is just so hot out. If I open up one of the windows here, I get just a really great cross vent. This fan pulls the air through Betti really well and just does a great job of keeping me cool. So that was another important part of my build, was having a fan, having a way to get air out of here. And it's actually, I can set temperature for Betti, and when it hits a certain temperature, this fan will turn on automatically. So if I'm away from Betti hiking all day and I want to keep her cool, I can set that and go. So that's another great feature of Betti. I decided not to have a built-in because I really wanted to have the counter space and to have things open. So I decided to get a butane stove instead of a built-in. And so that's stored up there, and I can pull it down when I want to cook dinner or make my coffee. I put in all these cabinets myself, and I stained them, added all the hardware. In here is just more clothing. I have my laptop up here. And then in here I have more food. This is all my pantry extra stuff. I also have a jackery in here, another small one that runs my fans and will charge my phone, and some other things should I need them. This is my bathroom cabinet in here, so I have towels and various toiletries in here. So these were, I got these from Hobby Lobby of all places, and like I say, this whole build was like a jigsaw puzzle, and so I was looking for something that was exactly this tall. And so I found 3 of these units. They're 2 cabinet units, and I refinished them, added the hardware. I have a water pump inside Betti, and I have 18 gallons of fresh water in here, and I also have a gallon of drinking water under the sink when I want filtered water. Underneath the sink, I have 5 gallons of Greywater, and then all my various stuff that you'd normally have underneath the sink, cleaning supplies, trash bags, that sort of thing. My water pump is also underneath here, and so it's easy to get to if I have a problem or need to replace it. I have a very small Instant Pot in here, and this is my teapot, and this is also my shower. Down in here I have all of my utensils, plastic bags, anything that I would need to cook with. And then down here I have my pots and pans and plates. And that's pretty much everything that I have to cook with in my kitchen. So over here is my refrigerator. Doesn't look like a fridge, but this is actually my fridge and my extra counter space. And so when I'm cooking, a lot of times what I'll do is I will move this onto the bed, and then it creates another space for me to chop vegetables, prepare food. And right here is my refrigerator and freezer. And so it's got a dual compartment, and so I can either have both sides be a fridge, or I can switch and have a freezer in there so that I can have meat, vegetables, whatever I want in the freezer for long rides out into the unknown. So I wanted to have a place where I could sit and enjoy the view out my door and do work. And so I added this lagoon table to do just that. So this is my breakfast nook and my dinner table and my workspace. And it folds away really nicely and stays out of the way. So everybody wants to know where my bathroom is, because really it doesn't look like there's room for one. But actually my bathroom is large, and it actually is this whole space. So underneath here I have my Trailino toilet. It's a composting toilet, and it just fits underneath my chair. The best seat in the house is on the bed. When I'm laying here, I can see everything in Betti. I see all of my art, everything that I've built, and it actually feels really, really big when I'm laying in my bed here. So I have extra storage under the bed in Betti, and it's also where I keep my heater is underneath there. I have a Webasto heater in there so that I can be out in Betti in the wintertime, and she's actually really comfortable in the winter. I also have my Jackery battery underneath there and my air conditioner. When it's too hot, I can switch and go into air conditioning mode. So out here I have my coat racks and also an extra counter space. So when it's too hot to cook inside, I can put my stove out here and cook out here. If I'm tailgating, this is kind of the area where everybody hangs out, because it's just too small in there. So this is actually a special door that my friend Pete had built, because this used to have a sliding door, and it was very rattly. It didn't close all the way, it was drafty, and so my friend Pete took the inside of the door and reframed it to make this door here. And so this is all mahogany here. And so that also left extra storage space in here for my portable solar panels, broom, dustpan. So that's all in there. So around the back here, I have this hitch for my spare tire. The hitch swings out, so I have access to the back of Betti. So I have two 2.6 gallon tanks of gas here to refill the gas tank for my Webasto heater. So with all of the tanks filled, I can go about 2 weeks before I have to refill my tanks. With a big box truck like Betti, sometimes it can be really difficult to back into places you just really can't see. So I installed this backup camera, and it's actually Bluetooth. It connects to a little screen that I have up front. And so it's super convenient. I can always see what's behind me when I need to. On the roof of Betti, I have 400 watts of solar, and that connects into my Jackery 2000 and keeps everything running in Betti. Some of the adventures I've had in Betti. There have been a lot of adventures in Betti. So the trip out west in Betti was probably the biggest and boldest adventure that I've taken on. I was all alone. I really didn't know exactly where I was going. I had a couple of friends that I was going to see, but other than that, it was wide open. And so I did a combination of harvest host and dispersed camping and woofing to kind of break things up, to get me in one spot for a little while. But for the most part, that adventure was the best. By the time I got out to probably New Mexico, everything was different. Everything. The trees were different, the mountains were different. And so every day I woke up and drove into places that were completely foreign to where I had grown up, where I had spent most of my adult life. And it's probably the most amazing experience that I've had. And it feels like I'm different after having done that trip. So I don't have plans for the future. I have learned that no matter how much you plan and how much you think about what you want, could, should, will do in the future, that very rarely happens the way you think it's gonna. So my future plans are to maybe do some traveling, maybe put down some roots, maybe buy a piece of property, maybe not. I don't know. But I really want to be happy, and I really want to be around my friends, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
If you like this week's episode, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and check back soon because we have new unique home tours publishing all the time. And if you'd like to join our team and get access to members-only content and unique perks, make sure you click on the join button below.